Hello everyone. Um, so I'm gonna try something different today. It's just kind of me just rambling a little bit about GERD, or GERD as some people call it, gastroesophageal reflux disease. Um, Basically, it has to do with things like indigestion and heartburn and a lot of issues. Acid contents kind of coming back up your esophagus. So it's no good. Trust me, really, really bad. So I've suffered for this for, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know because it's something, some people can call it silent reflux because sometimes you don't really know you have it. Like you might feel a little irritation in your throat, and you think that you're just, getting sick or something. So I honestly don't know how long I had this, but I definitely was aware of it probably about 2 to 3 years ago. And it happened. I would have, some crazy like cough bursts. I would eat, some fatty fried foods, and suddenly I'm like, you know, can't breathe, and really, really bad stuff was happening to me. And also, I wasn't even able to scream for my band. So that was kind of disappointing. So at least it got me out to see, an ENT, an ear, nose, throat specialist, and I even saw a speech therapist for a bit, who helped me kind of vocalize and things like that. And I remember they gave me a sheet of the things that I should be doing, and under the diet portion it said no fried fatty foods, no dairy, no caffeine, and a few other things like orange juice and tomato sauce, I think. And I remember reading that and thinking to myself, wait a minute, I'm never going to be able to have, fried chicken. I'm never going to be able to have cereal, have a pizza. So all these things that I enjoyed on occasion, pizza especially, I love pizza a lot. And so I'm kind of like processing this, and I'm trying to figure out a way around it, I guess. So I tried dairy alternatives to see if that helped, and it seemed to help. So I switched to almond milk, and I restricted, the fried foods and the pizzas and things like that. Maybe I would have it like once every 2 weeks or so. But I definitely felt better when I wasn't eating those foods, and also the alcohol. I think that the worst thing was to have alcohol and then, fried, fatty, dairy type foods, which fortunately happened a few times. I would have a concert with my band, and people would hand me drinks, and we would drink, and we would go to a bar. Then we would get hungry, and we eat, whatever was open at the time, which usually are things like, Mexican places and things like that. And then I would lie down right after eating, which is when you're not supposed to do. You're actually supposed to wait 3 hours before you go to bed. So whenever I didn't, follow the guidelines, I would always kind of get back to square one. I would feel this acid coming up my throat, and it's like, oh, okay, back to square one. So even though this wasn't like the only reason why I decided to go vegan, it was a huge reason. I think to make a big change in your life, I think you kind of need some motivation, like a real underlying reason. And I remember after struggling, because I did cut down on the dairy for about a year, and I actually lost about 15 pounds or so without exercise, just cutting down the dairy. And because I would always kind of falter and, put myself in situations where I was kind of not forced, but like it was very convenient for me to eat the foods that I wasn't supposed to. It was very frustrating for me, and it came to a point about a year ago, last year around February, March or so, that I just kind of had enough, and I decided, well, if I'm always going to get back to square one, I'm never going to get anywhere. And I decided that I was going to really do a big effort to cut down on everything, all the dairy, all the fried foods. And I kind of took it a step further. At first, I kind of went like like a vegetarian kind of route without dairy. So I did for about a week of not just cutting down on fried and dairy, but also cutting down on every meat. And a few days later, I decided, you know what, let me just cut out the fish too. So that's when I went vegan. And I just kind of did it as to try it out to see what would happen. So I did a week of being vegan, and I remember feeling so freaking good that after my week was up, and I thought about going back to my old routine of, you know, cutting down the dairy and maybe once every 2 weeks having a pizza or whatever. So I thought about, you know what, let me just not do that. Let me just do another week because I feel pretty great. And then the second week turned into a third week, to a fourth week, and it came to a point where I decided that I was feeling so great that I didn't want to not feel great ever again. I didn't want to go back to my old ways. I decided to stick to a vegan lifestyle, and read some books that were recommended to me and did a lot of research online. And one of the things that kind of, looking back when I became vegan is that I used to always think of lactose intolerance. I used to always kind of think of that as an unfortunate circumstance, kind of like my unfortunate circumstance of not being able to eat fried foods and dairy because of my GERD. I thought of people that have lactose intolerance as, oh, poor people, they can't, enjoy pizzas and milk and things like that. And that changed. Now, I don't think of it that way anymore. Now I think of it as these people have a mechanism in their body that is letting them know that these are not foods for them. This is not what they're supposed to be eating or drinking. So it's really easy. They have that motivation. They have that, that other reason to cut down on them. Whereas people like me who lived most of their young and adult life eating and indulging on these foods, and having the silent GERD symptoms that pop up once in a while, and you don't even know that you have it. We just keep eating these foods and drinking these foods, and kind of destroying our bodies, and without even realizing it. If I hadn't had GERD, I probably would never have gone vegan. And I'm very thankful that I did have it, because that gave me the motivation to change. And now that I've changed, I feel so much better. Health-wise, I feel maybe better than my early 20s, and I'm in my late 30s right now. So anyways, I just wanted to kind of touch a little bit about GERD and the changes, how it affected me going vegan. All that stuff is in the past now. I don't have any indigestion, any coughing fits, or actually there was a point where it was so bad and I had no idea what was going on. I actually thought I was having like a heart attack or something. I actually ended up in the hospital, and they did all kinds of tests on me, and at the end of the day, they're like, oh no, it's just, you have heartburn, GERD, whatever, take these medications, blah, 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 and needless to say, I'm not taking any medications anymore. Following, a proper diet is going to eliminate a lot of medications, not just for GERD, but for a lot of other things. But I just wanted to touch on GERD today, and maybe I'll be making some more videos like this in the future. Anyways, if you got any comments or any questions, drop them down below. Thanks for checking out this video. Bye.